So, why are so many Australian property investors suddenly looking at Dubai? And no, it's not just for the sunshine. The real story is in the numbers and, the strategic advantages that are getting harder and harder to find back home. We're going to break down exactly what's pulling Aussie investment dollars to the desert. Let's dive in. Okay, right off the bat, just look at these numbers. The financial incentive is, well, it's pretty stark. While you might be getting around 2 to 4% rental yields in major Australian cities, Dubai's market is consistently hitting between 5 and 10%. In many cases, that's more than double the return. It's all driven by this booming population, its status as a global business hub, and a massive tourism industry. This right here is the core reason the conversation is shifting.
And look, it isn't just about Dubai's appeal. There's also a big push from back home. Returns are getting squeezed, especially in places like Sydney, where yields have dipped around 3%. It's basically forcing savvy investors to start looking outside the box, to diversify their portfolios and hunt for better performance on the world stage. But great yields are only one piece of the puzzle. The other massive draw? Well, it's all about what you actually get to keep.
Now, this is where it gets really, really interesting. Just look at the difference in the tax burden. In Dubai, your rental income is totally tax-free. Compare that to Australia, where you could be taxed up to 45% on it. Then, when you decide to sell, zero capital gains tax. And you don't have those recurring property taxes, like council rates. This whole framework just fundamentally changes how profitable an investment can be. Let's just let that number sink in for a second. 0%. That's the tax you pay on your rental income. That's the tax you pay on your capital gains if you sell the property. It is such a powerful number, and it lets investors keep so much more of their hard-earned profits.
And that's really the bottom line. This isn't just a minor benefit. We're talking about a fundamental game changer for anyone trying to build long-term wealth. You simply get to keep more of what your asset makes year after year.
Okay, so the financial case is strong. I get it. But you're probably thinking, how does an Australian actually buy property in Dubai? Is it going to be a nightmare? Well, the process is surprisingly straightforward and, more importantly, very secure. Let's break it down. So the first key concepts you need to get your head around is freehold ownership. And honestly, it's exactly what it sounds like. You own the building and the land it's on completely. In special designated zones, Australians can have 100% foreign ownership. And the title system they use is actually pretty similar to the one we use in Australia, which provides a nice, familiar layer of security. So where can you actually buy on a freehold basis? Well, you're looking at some of the most popular and well-known communities for international investors. Places like Dubai Marina and downtown Dubai are famous for their strong rental demand and amazing amenities, making them prime targets for anyone looking to start a new portfolio. A really common way for investors to get in is by buying off-plan, before the building's even finished. And for anyone worried about buying something sight unseen, the system is really built on security. All your payments go into an escrow account that's supervised by the government. The developer can't even touch that money until they hit specific, verified construction milestones. And maybe the best part of all, the whole transaction can be managed right from your couch in Australia. But an investment destination is always more than just numbers on a spreadsheet. What about the human side of things? The lifestyle and the community are huge factors, especially if you're thinking about maybe relocating or just spending more time there yourself. Well, you definitely won't be alone. Get this, there's already an established community of roughly 24,000 Australians living in the UAE. That means there's a ready-made support network already on the ground, which, can make all the difference when you're in a new country. And this is a really active community. You can plug right into professional networks like the Australian Business Council, connect at social events, or get involved in all the sports clubs that are popular with Aussie expats. It's a super vibrant, welcoming environment that helps you build connections from day one. So beyond the community, this investment can actually build into something even bigger. This isn't just about financial returns. It can also be a direct pathway to getting long-term residency. This is the famous Golden Visa. It's a 10-year renewable residency visa that's granted to property investors who meet a certain threshold. This is what transforms a simple asset purchase into a real, long-term opportunity to live, work, and study in the UAE. It gives incredible flexibility for you and your family. So what's it going to take to qualify? An investment of 2 million dirhams, which works out to be about 790,000 Australian dollars, gets you that 10-year golden visa. Now, there is a 2-year option for a smaller investment, but really, the golden visa is the real prize for anyone with a long-term vision. And you can actually see how this visa is actively shaping the market.
What's really fascinating here is that almost 40% of all property sales by value fall right into that 2 to 3 million dirham range. This just shows you how many investors are specifically targeting golden visa eligibility, which then helps drive demand and supports property values in that sweet spot. So, after looking at the yields, the tax benefits, the ownership structure, the residency perks, what's the big picture here for an Australian investor?
It all really boils down to these 5 key advantages. You're getting much higher rental yields than back home. You're paying zero tax on your income and capital gains. You get secure, full freehold ownership. You have a clear path to long-term residency with the Golden Visa. And you can tap into a strong, established Aussie expat community right from day one. When you put it all together, it presents a pretty compelling case for diversification. So the final question to think about is this. In a world of squeezed returns at home, is your property portfolio missing out on the distinct global advantage that a market like Dubai has to offer?